Without this, there's no boundaries. So me too. Like you, Daniel, don't we love a world without boundaries, kind of? Like freedom?
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I didn't like uniform policies. Facial hair. Heck, I can't grow facial hair. It wasn't a problem, but when I can, it was like, I can finally grow facial hair. I would love to be able to just keep it for a little bit and play with it like all the other people that are being marketed on Men's Fitness and TV. For real. Like, we are being sold. I'm done buying it. I've been done buying it. And if anything, I don't know that I'm sold on God. I bought into Him. And I believe the truth is revealing itself to me very oddly, weirdly. And I'm trying to reveal it to the world. And you being a part of it. And I've seen the impact that not I've had, the impact that this guy's had. Who's opposing him? Like, John 10:10 up here, I just barely wrote it down. It was kind of, to parlay with that. It's, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Jesus came so that we may have life and to the full. Yet, man's interpretation of this whole thing, if there's anything biblical related, possibly they've given up because their interpretation is poor on the representation of those that preach the gospel. And that's sad to me. We've allowed man to come in the way of God. If anything, man, the Son of Man, came to give us a way to God. And I understand people can't wrap their mind around that in a short second. But it's certainly, there's a line between talking and explaining. There's a line between me and you just having a conversation and stating something versus thoroughly understanding each other and knowing that we got the word that we were putting out there and hoping that it was delivered. How many times we've giggled, like we've laughed hysterically about, look at this communication thing, it just happened.
Last night.
What was the word? Like we had the complete backwards, flip-flop word that could be easily associated in context within our sentence structure. But somehow, we both hear it completely different. And you're like, I don't understand how we made it this far and been able to communicate this well if this is the way we understand each other. Obviously, we're joking. But because of everything else that's going on, it's true. And I told you that's something different. That's obviously in our hearts and in our eyes. Nobody can take that. And I think that's what people have in the world. When people start looking into each other's eyes and trying to relate to our hearts, to each other's hearts, we're going to get somewhere. But seeing the video in Huntington Beach yesterday, that pissed me off. That happened this weekend. It's got nothing to do with the ethnic groups involved. It's got to do with the way protest occurred. I don't believe anybody stands up for that. And I believe that's just reaction. Watching that video, you see a little of this.
Which happens at sporting events all the time.
That's enough right there for a hothead to jump out and go. They're out there already with every bit of intent to enforce their point of view. Standing their ground. That's what a protest is. Now, is that a protest that is effective? I'm not here to suggest. I'm not here to suggest that at all. I'm saddened by the way we're going about our business, and I'm not here to judge. I can't talk about like anything apparently. If I can't talk about this, I can't talk about anything. That's why I joke around about the breath. When I found out my breath stunk. I didn't give a shit what anybody thought it smelled like. I smelled shit. And it pissed me off. Like, who else to blame? Excuse the explicits. I cleaned my mouth. I started to get compliments on a smile, on a whitened smile. Weird. Cause and effect. I took pride in something. It was really cool. You know what else I thought? Two things. One was just a question, I wondered, did anybody smell it? Straight up. Did anybody smell it? And the second one was, in a judgment, observation type of a way, like, whose world was affected all that time, if they did smell it? Theirs or mine? I can't help but say it was theirs. I didn't smell it. That's hilarious. To me, that's hilarious. Talk about like a message within. If you're upset about the way the world smells, do something about it. But we're so sensitive, and we've had this discussion with, oh, the last thing somebody's going to do is say your breath stinks, because then that's an attack on you, and it's maybe you're going to ruin a friendship or make the mood weird, or is it their place? Like, maybe they have bad breath issues. I learned this with a friend of mine, and I've shared this story with you, in baseball, that had facial hair, and it didn't grow in a certain spot. And he was a good friend of mine. I love this brother. And I just told him about, like, hey man, like, you kind of messed up your shave there. And he responded back like, thanks man, appreciate it. His feelings got hurt. And I'm like, what just happened? Well, it's up to me to figure out what happened. He's going to respond the way he's going to respond. If you sit there and touch a turtle, or you touch a snail, and it allows you to play with it, that's one turtle. But not every turtle does that. Some turtles... I didn't come in any harm to this man. So I wanted to make sure he was alright, like he knew that. And he told me something that taught me a lesson. And he just said, you know, it's okay. Like, I'm sorry too, but I don't grow hair in that spot. And it's like, it's hard on me because, you know, like, I take pride in how I look, and I want to be lined up, and, you know, he tries and he looks lined up all the time, but he was a little off. So I thought we had already established that comfort zone and friendship of, like, if anybody can tell him, it would be a friend. But even that person could perceive me coming in harm. And that's how fragile we are. So, in order to protect something that's fragile, what do we do?
Expose it. You certainly can't shelter it.
If it's fragile, you expose it. Let's think about shipping something, babe.
That's true.
I'm not here to try to say all the words. I want you to be a part of it too, you know? As you have been a lot in your eating, but like fragile. What would you do with something fragile?
Take care of it.
And what would you do to take care of it?
Protect it.
How so? Like for a package that you're gonna send.
Wrap it with bubble wrap or extra cardboard or a bigger box or something.
Beautiful. And then what? Anything else maybe?
Store it in a safe place.
Sure. I guess I was saying for the purpose of the package, probably have fragiles on it,
Oh.
fragile tape. So it's very, you're making it known. And that's what I think the problem here is we're not seeing the help that we're calling out on. And it's not that we're calling out on God. A lot of people have and are and feel like they're empty. They're just a bunch of voicemails. God must be backed up. And I couldn't think they're further from the truth right now. And I would ask them if it was maybe just their perception. And where we are at home in the United States, this freedom comes with a cost. Continuity. Working. We have a lot of laziness. I was lazy. I've been lazy. Anybody that can't be accountable for it, fraud. Those that wake up that are striving for excellence and being a part of building this community and building this world into what it is and or has become. They're the reason why we are where we are at, within reason. Not why we're where we're at within destruction, but why the walls have been built. If you don't have workers, nothing happens. We just have to realize how powerful we are. And I understand this frustration with the finances and the difficulties to survive. Those that think I don't, because of my background, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair at all. Whatever that background is, even my own family, Danielle, the perception of rich is flawed. For someone with a cent, 1 cent to their name, if you have 10 cents, you're rich. You're a lot richer, that's for sure. Now to that person with 10 cents, you magnify that by 10 to $1. That person with $1 has well more, exponentially more, than the person with 10 cents and $1. And we go on from there, $1 to 10, 10 to 100. 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10, 10,000 to 100,000. There are gaps in our society, no doubt, no different than the concrete we lay. But there's also connection. I'm saddened by the perception of capitalism, by the perception of what we've done within our economy. I too, so ignorant. The more I'm I'm choosing to dive in and talk, it's coming with knowledge. If you read a book, you're going to get the information out of it. If you're a sponge and you happen to be on a surface, you're going to retain what's on that surface, especially liquid form. We're here to retain information.
When you talk about being rich and having, 1 cent or 10 cents, I think there's a big, well, in my opinion, I think it can be a misconception because sometimes when people have 10 cents or $1. They might have a lot of money, but on the inside they might feel completely empty. Whereas someone that only has 2 cents or 5 cents is living comfortably or maybe struggling a little bit, but maybe their faith is really rich and they have someone or they're married that makes them really happy and they're rich in their relationships or with their family, and it doesn't always, it's not about money.
Yeah. I'm with you, Danielle. I think we have had a unbelievable marketing campaign through America to come up in. If you think about, when you were raised, being a few years younger than me, I saw the difference in having a black and white little mini TV that was like a hand-me-down. Like, they obviously already had color, and we had color, but like my little TV that I was given for my room was a little black and white. And, it was introduction, like crawling before walking and walking before running. And it's fascinating as we look at how powerful that marketing campaign has really gripped its way into the American, let alone the individual that has access to the World Wide Web. It's information at their fingertips. It's content. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's things that you don't really want your children to be exposed to. Especially not when they're not old enough, right? Mm-hmm. Like, mom and dad, most would be, they'd get to a point where they'd be like, whatever it is, they'd probably want to share that time with their child and it'd be kind of no holds bars, just free. But it's hard for them because they're always the parent. My dad didn't raise me to see, or Colleen, they didn't raise me to see alcohol or drink alcohol. They couldn't help the way I would react to being exposed to people who drink and wanting to fit into those crowds. The topic we were supposed to do, followers and leaders, I can't wait to talk on that. Because that's exactly what this is leading into. But, over here, I think, again, I'm not here to blame, as that is not part of the solution. Like math, we must understand who and what we are at war with. 1 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3, 1 plus 2 equals 4. If somebody said that, you naturally would be like, nope, stop. How? This right here, it's an ounce, right? Resistance. I want to make sure. I believe that is a fundamental core value that's instilled. It came from God. There's a reason why it's hard to be caught and tamed. The old wrangler, the cowboy wrangler, trying to, get the stallion in the wild. Not easy. Damn straight it's gonna buck. It's rewarding too for that cowboy that gets that stallion. Especially the one that nobody wants to get, that nobody's been able to get. Because there's something to be said about being born in the wild. You can just see it in them. You can see it in anything. It's life. People are fighting for their freedom. They don't want to be born into captivity. And how are we not? We are. But it's the perception of that can really create a problem. Not the reality of, the perception of. Now, what is perception? We've had that talk.
Opinion.
And what your reality is. That's your perspective. I'm not here to say I have the answer, but heck, let's get to the whiteboard. Let's get to the drawing board. Let's talk. This is class. This is education. Let's understand the words that we throw around and associate a meaning to. If we don't, then we're just kind of being told, hey, that's that, that's that, that's that. No more. That's a robot. We're here to interact. We wouldn't be here without interaction. Like procreation, cycle of life. Truth must be told. Seriously. This is not for me. Although this message helps. This helps me. I'm scared right now for our society because our actions are reflecting conflicting messages for what I believe peacekeepers are trying to suggest they're about. I personally know I am responsible for my actions. I'm going to go over this side of the board. Education is what we need right now, in my opinion. There's no if, ands, or buts, or ways around that. I completely think we're feeding off of ignorance. As a colony, a group. Gasoline on a fire adds to the magnification thereof. I'd said that earlier. Education. What is education? What are we accomplishing in education? What is this right here?
Knowledge. Truth. Understanding, as you say. Or math.
Problem solving, right? Isn't that kind of what that is? You were right. All of what you said was right, by the way. And there's probably a long list of other words that are associated with the same thing. I'm not here. This is not here to be right. What'd you say?
Equations.
Yeah. This is, to me, what it's all about. Understanding. That was a slippery board. It's hard to keep my...
Well, this topic is a slippery slope, so
I like it.
you're just going down, I guess.
I mean, this is what education is. Understanding. This is what education is. Problem solving. I don't care. This isn't my strategy. This isn't, hey, take this idea or don't take it, or if you take it, I'm coming after you. This is the kind of world we're in. Profiteer. How can you not be? Who's going to pay your bills? How can we eat without somebody to provide? And in our society, how are we supposed to put food in our bellies if we don't have money in our bank accounts? Or a job to get or go to? And then you see this whole web of problems that come with, what is it? I know the words in my life. To me, it's not one word, I shouldn't say that, but my life, a lot of laziness. A lot of thought that I'm owed something. Is it easy? No. But you want to know what's not easy? Take a view into other countries. See the roofs that they have over their head. The toilet paper that we're fighting over and bitching and moaning that we don't have, they've never had. Those that aren't exposed to that are not going to understand that. They're going to be outraged by what they see here. They're going to feel like they're the guy that's rich up on the hill. He's privileged. He has it better, and it's not fair. He should give me what he has. But there's ignorance. Why is he up there? What did his family do maybe? Who knows? But people want what they don't have. We have been sold that through marketing once again. That's the American dream. I can't watch it eat itself alive. And sit here in shelter in hopes that it's all going to be okay. My idea of life isn't have enough money to pay off my debts and own a house and retire and do nothing. That's not my dream. It's changed. Thank God for this. I want to be around people. The introverted guy that didn't like company of others because of opinion and war, unless I was a friend or you came in peace, then yeah, I loved the company of others. But the minute I started seeing like topics of religion or politics, which I was so ignorant to because I didn't have a faith in God, but I had the seeds planted. And that's the thing, I think we're built for this information. But are we getting it? And who am I to share it? What you are educated on is likely to have a direct influence on life itself, or simply your perception of. That, again, is reality. Not for all, but for individuals. Our actions directly reflect our state of being. Notice how I say our, mine included. Obviously, I am no different than anyone else. We are what we do. Actions will always speak louder than words. If we change our thoughts, we change our actions. Doing nothing does nothing. Talk less, more action. Like, here I am talking what is it? How long has this been? An hour and frickin', okay, I was going to say an hour and 37 minutes. What are you talking about? An hour and a minute. Just over an hour. This is my way of being about it. Because I'm not going to go jump in a war. Am I not courageous for that? I didn't like the idea of war in school. It saddened me. Completely saddened me. The movie Wind Talkers. So powerful to me. Have you heard this, or do you know anything about this?
No.
U.S. government used Native American language to help us in a war. And there's a movie that kind of correlates to this. And it shows the friendship and bond of brotherhood. It's such a patriotic movie, Danielle. Such a unifying movie, but also powerful, sad. War is ugly. It goes back to, with war, with war comes casualties. I'm saddened by war right now. And I'm not going to be condemned for not wanting to jump into it. This is my way of fighting. I don't need guns. I don't condemn those who have them. It's not my job to judge. As I have on my chest under this shirt, only God can judge me. I can't judge them. They want to judge me, that's fine. Whoever they are. But that movie, Danielle, was so powerful. Colleen and her background of where she came from, her husband, her family that she had created up in Yakima, Washington, or was a part of, and still is. It's just amazing how delicate and intricate and connected we really all are. I just want to help us see it. That's it. Just want to help us see it. Not as if, again, I'm here talking about the Bible and trying to represent God. But why not? I'm not ashamed of that. Do I think it has to be in a cathedral or in walls that have specifically been designed for worship? No, I do not. I believe Jesus and my belief in Him has allowed me to worship, talk directly, intimately, right here, right now. And a lot of people I don't think understand that, and they might not believe that, and they might struggle to believe that it's even possible. What are we talking about? I want to educate them on what that means. As I've honestly been given the opportunity to do with you, Danielle, on truth, and you asking a simple question about something that I believed in directly. And I'm calling you out in the sense of me just simply saying, do you want to believe? I'm not calling you out. It was in a bad way. It was when we were at the coffee shop after your grandmother passed away. And I know it was a very tough time with your family. It was a very tough time on you, seeing what your father was going through, with how it's tough. It's really tough. I've been so fortunate to dodge death in my life. It's hit home close to me, really close to me a few times, and it's hurt, don't get me wrong.